Hey y'all, so we're about to go live and we're just going to have a nice student loan chat. So if you're coming in the room, I am not really teaching much today. I am just, answering questions. I will do to the best of my ability to answer the questions anyways. And hopefully if I do not know the answer, maybe someone else does. So come on in the room. We'll be talking about student loans, student loan forgiveness, debt consolidation, public service loan forgiveness. Hey, that girl, still blessed. We're talking about student loans. So if you have questions about student loan forgiveness, student loan consolidation, public service loan forgiveness, anything like that. Hey, Dwayne 31 Grant, we're talking about student loan forgiveness. So come on in the room, because I know you guys probably have questions. Maybe I can answer a few. Maybe you guys can answer a few of each other's questions. I don't know what people usually do on a Saturday night, but how exciting to talk about student loans. So if you guys do not know, let's see. How do I even use the chat while I am live? It's a very good question. Hold on. So I'm going to put the website for the application for student loan forgiveness in the chat, or I'm going to at least try and do this while I talk at the same time. And of course, you can find this on my page as well, because hopefully I get this correct, because it is on the studentaid.gov website. So if you are looking for the student loan forgiveness application, the beta testing version is out at this moment, and it goes on and off. So if you guys are just coming in the room, we're talking about student loan forgiveness, public service loan forgiveness, debt consolidation. We're just going to stay in chat. Hopefully I'm not sitting on here talking to myself. We'll see how it goes, because I am sitting outside. Hopefully the bugs don't eat me up. I'm trying to put the application in the comments. So the application is https:// hi Tracy Williams, studentaid.gov/debt-relief/application. So if you have not already applied for the loan forgiveness, so this is Biden's announcement that he announced about, I think it was like August 25th. Here is the application, because it's in beta testing, so which means the site kind of goes in and out, where they will close it down and they'll bring it back up. And so like late last night, I heard that the application came up and then it closed again, and then bright early this morning at like 8 or 9 a.m., the application came up again. And so I was trying to send people there quickly, because you want to act fast, because they could feasibly close it down, and then do you have to consolidate it? So for the loan forgiveness, it depends. Like if you just have your regular standardized, like either unsubsidized loans or subsidized loans, usually those are fine. You don't have to consolidate for the student loan forgiveness, the $10,000 or the $20,000 if you have Pell Grants. But if you have private loans, let's say FFEL loans or Perkins loans, you would have had to consolidate those loans into a direct consolidation loan before the date of the change. And I think it was September 29th, I believe. It was either 28th or the 29th. So yeah, so for the loan forgiveness, from my understanding, you don't have to consolidate if you just have regular Department of Education direct consolidation loans. Okay, Bowie Brooks, hey, or Bowie Brooks, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. So October 31st is the deadline for the provision for the public service loan forgiveness. So which means the the changes with the public service loan forgiveness that are done October 31st, that is like they take partial payments, payments that aren't on time. It can be on any repayment plan. That's the provision that the expiration for that is October 31st, 2023. For the loan forgiveness, that one, so $10,000 for regular borrowers of consolidation loans, or $20,000 if you have Pell Grant loans, that is, you have up until December 31st, 2023 to apply for that one. Oh, Lord. Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming in the room. I appreciate it. I will do my very best to keep up with the comments and the questions and things like that. If you could, go ahead and like the broadcast. Go ahead and share the broadcast with somebody who you feel is like, hey, you need to be on here. We're asking questions and hopefully getting some answers. So share, go ahead and follow. That would be so great. I would greatly appreciate that. And then I included the application link in the comments, which I think you guys really have to write it down and then type it into the browser. Okay, let's see. What questions have I already missed? Okay, is it an easy, Tracy Williams, is it an easy application to fill out? So the one for the Biden announcement, the student loan forgiveness or debt cancellation of $10,000 or $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant, that takes less than 5 minutes. So you could literally get off here now and go there. And really, I want you to, because that means that yours will be taken care of, okay? And I want everybody to be able to at least have the opportunity to apply. So yeah, it literally takes less than 5 minutes. Because they ask pretty much, so when I looked at it, they asked for your name, they asked for your date of birth, phone number, social security number, email, and you basically have to attest that you are that you can abide by the income limits, basically. So which means if you're single, you make less than $125,000, or if you're married, you make less than $250,000. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Agreed. Victory, what if the loan is in collections? So for student loan forgiveness, okay, so that is a good question. You should still apply. So if we're, Victory V33. So if we are talking about the student loan forgiveness and you are in collections, so basically it means that you are not in repayment status. So I'm assuming you just weren't be able to pay at that time, which is why it's in collections. I would still apply. Allow the Department of Education to tell you what your next steps are. Okay. So yeah, I would definitely apply, because remember your, as long as your loan was is basically a publicly held or with the Department of Education, you should be able to get the forgiveness. And as long as you abide by those income limits as well. So I would, yes, Victory V33, go ahead and go on to the studentaid.gov website. So the link that I gave you, and go ahead and put in your information. Because guys, we don't want to miss out because we know, you feel like, okay, I think I made too much money, or or this is in collections. Honestly, when you're in doubt about it, go ahead and put in your information and apply. Because you prefer them to say, okay, no, you don't qualify, rather than you wishing you would have applied and you never did, okay? Thanks for the question, Victory V. I appreciate it so much. Wait, can you type it again, please? Yes. Or I can at least try. I should have copied it and then put it there. But or I can tell you, maybe that's faster. Because me trying to do that and then trying to do this at the same time, it's neither here nor there. But it is, okay, I think I have a quick break, so let me try. I wish I could get off of here and copy it and then paste it, in the perfect world we live in. Okay, so it should be HTTPS, I believe. I'm trying to think, is it without this S? Oh, y'all, I'm forgetting at this very moment. But I want to say it's HTTPS:// student aid, AID. And if you guys only saw me right now, I'm literally trying to hold my phone up in the air because I'm outside, because I don't feel like being in my office today. /debt debt-relief/application. And of course, this is out there online as well. So if I accidentally type it incorrectly, it's like, no, type it. Okay, I tried. So hopefully that is correct. I believe it is. So https://studentaid.gov/debt-relief/application. And literally it takes 5 minutes. So you can literally get off of here, do it, and then be back on and not miss much. Hi, 11 Ma Lewis. We are talking about student loans. So if you have questions about consolidation, if you have questions about public service loan forgiveness, or the provision that ends October 31st, 2023, feel free to ask. I can share some brief information that I learned about the application from today. So okay, perfect. Barry Brooks, you're a genius. Okay, look. Perfect. Okay, so the application for the student loan forgiveness that came out sounds like late last night. So it's available in English and Spanish. You can do it on your mobile device. You can do it on your computer. So there's a lot of different ways that you can fill it out. And then so far, I haven't seen where you have to upload any information, because at first we thought, oh, you might have to upload your 2020 or your 2021 W-2 or tax return. And so as of right now, I don't see that you have to. You basically need your name, social security number, date of birth, phone number, and basically your email address, and you need to attest to those income limits, okay? So meaning that if you are single, you make less than $125,000 a year, or if you are married, you make less than $250,000 a year. And then remember, you are, I thought there was a gecko on my foot, sorry. And so so basically normal borrowers, you could get $10,000 forgiven, and if you had a Pell Grant, then you would have $20,000 forgiven. I am Luke Survival. Hey, how are you? I'm doing pretty good tonight. It's a beautiful evening. I'm trying to sit outside until the bugs start biting, and then I might transition in the house. We'll see. But just hanging out. It's a real cool evening too. How's everybody else doing? Bonnie Lou 68, how are you? Oh, so I wanted to tell you guys too about after you submit your application. So after you submit your application, from what it seems, what will happen is that you will receive a confirmation email saying, hey, I received your application. And then the expectation is that you shouldn't have to apply again after you submit this beta, quote unquote, beta testing application. So they're saying, okay, we know it's in beta, but they're basically trying to streamline the process before they go officially live. But you shouldn't have to go on there and do it again. At least we hope. We'll see. Things change so quickly, which is why I'm trying to get you guys to literally go and fill it out right now and then come back, and you wouldn't miss a beat, okay? And so you receive that confirmation email, and then I'm trying to think what else happens after that. You will receive a notification to let you know that, yes, your application has been approved. And then a note will be sent to your servicer saying, hey, the application is approved. And then your servicer will send you a notification to say, okay, your the money is now, so the $10,000 or $20,000 is now applied to your principal balance. They'll let you know, and then they'll say, hey, now we're telling you what your new balance is for each month now based on your new balance, okay, based on your new principal balance, because you'll have that $10,000 or that $20,000 taken off. So which means feasibly your monthly amount could go down, right? Because now your principal balance is less. So your monthly payment that you owe hopefully will go down. But remember, but yeah, it should go down, I would think, because you're reducing your principal balance. So that's a big thing to remember. And then they will contact you as well. So if they need additional information or they have questions about your application, the Department of Education will contact you as well, send you an email. Bowie Brooks, okay, you did it. Okay, great. Awesome. I'm glad you did. So that's good. So that's one thing that is done. I even suggest, so I had a friend that contacted me today, my old roommate. She was just like, hey, I paid off my loans during 2020. So this is after March 13th, 2020, when all of the payments and interest were frozen. And so if you happen to pay off your student loans, because I was telling her, I was like, girl, pay your stuff off. And then, of course, all this stuff happens later, but she's debt free, so she's happy. But if you paid your loans off after March 13th, 2020, you have the possibility of receiving a refund due to this new forgiveness plan. And I know I've talked about that a little bit before, but to make a long story short, there was a young woman that sacrificed significantly to so no vacations, not eating out, all these things to pay off our loans during that time when the payments were frozen. And she decided she was going to call and apply. And she said, you know what, I'm going to call and see if there's some way I can get some kind of refund, because she's like, I paid mine off. And remember, there was a caveat that if you were paying your balance, paying your student loans, making payments during the time when those student loans were frozen, you could get a refund for that money. So remember, though, it really mostly makes sense if your loan is paid off already, which means your loan is closed. So her loan was able to remain closed, and she was able to get almost $10,000, right? Up to $10,000 back as a refund, because her loan was already paid off. So they basically said, okay, you don't have a loan. So we're saying that we, quote unquote, owe you $10,000 because you paid that money during that time when the payments were frozen, and they've agreed to give the refunds. So she did receive that income. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys if you happen to be someone that paid off your loans during that time. But let's say you are someone who has like $10,000 left on your loan. You have to be careful, because if you ask for a refund of, let's say you paid $2,000 during the time when the payments and the interest were frozen, you paid $2,000 and they return that $2,000 to you. I have a back road at my house. So if they return that $2,000 to you, guess what? Your loan is still active. So that $2,000 will go back to add onto your principal balance. So you'll now owe $12,000 instead of $10,000. So be mindful of that, because it's different if, I'm trying to think though, but yeah, it's still, it's a hard circumstance though, because you would still be able to get, because now I'm thinking about that example, because if you had $10,000 left and you asked for $2,000, you'd actually still be in the good with that example, because it means that they would return $2,000 to you. And think about it. Yes, you would add $2,000 back to $12,000, but you would still have $10,000 forgiven, right? Yeah, you would still be doing pretty well, even if you decided to ask for that money back, because you'd get $2,000. You'd still only have, you'd have $10,000 forgiven, and you'd have $2,000 still left to pay. So really, it's almost no point in getting that in that example. Now that I think about it, I'll use better numbers next time, because really, in that circumstance, it's like you're done, because once they forgive the $10,000, you basically get the $2,000 back, and then that's it. So they wouldn't even have anything to add it to. So I'm trying to think what a better example is. Really, a better example, I guess, is if you owe more than $10,000. So if you owe $30,000 and you ask for $2,000 back, that $2,000 is now added to your full balance. So which means it doesn't really help as much if you have a large balance still left if you try to get a refund. So you just be careful is really my point in making this, okay? Be careful when you start trying to get a refund. So the best cases is if you already have paid off your loan. If you've already paid off your loan, or you're really close to paying off your loan, like if you have less than $10,000 or less, then you'll have to see if the calculation makes sense for you to get a refund. On App Tips and Faluke Survival. Hello. If you're just coming in the room, we're talking about student loan forgiveness. student loan consolidation, public service loan forgiveness, all that good stuff. The other night we were talking about consolidation as well. I don't know if you guys have further questions just about the application from today. I kind of just wanted to hop on. So if you have not applied for the student loan forgiveness on the studentaid.gov website, please do that as soon as possible. I'm almost like, get off this live and go do it now, because from what I've heard, the website is waxing and waning a little bit. So it's going in and out. It'll be up for a while, it'll get bogged down, and then it'll close, and then it'll be up again. And then October 31st is coming soon. So if you are still considering, hey MS 1961 Money Moves, if you are still considering applying for the public service loan forgiveness, there's not much time left. There's, what is today? 15th or something like that. You have about 2 weeks left to get your application in for the public service loan forgiveness program. So you would need to consolidate your loans immediately. If you, that's one of the first things. You have to have your loans consolidated. You would have to have worked an average of 30 hours. So that is considered full time. And you only have just one application to fill out: the temporary expanded public service loan forgiveness and the just regular public service loan forgiveness application. And it'll make you a test that, yes, you are working for like a nonprofit or a government entity. There were lots of options. So if you work at the library, if you're in the Peace Corps, in the AmeriCorps, so there's quite a few options. If you're in law enforcement, if you, and of course some teachers, some nurses, some pharmacists. But then remember, the best thing you can do to find out if you work at a qualifying employer is to use the employer identification number and put that in on the studentaid.gov website. So you go into the PSLF search tool and type in that employer identification number. And if you are looking for that number, it is on your W-2. So in like the top left corner, you'll find that employee identification number there. You'll be able to type that right in. And then if it does not show up there, I would still call the Department of Education, because the tax status of these companies changes all the time. So which means things could have changed recently. So that happened at my last location, where they said, oh no, we don't have PSLF. And then they were like, a few months later, yes we do. And I'm like, okay. It was like someone else went to ask, and all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah. So you never know. Things change. So every few months it's okay to ask. And then you do, in order to get full student loan forgiveness for the public service loan forgiveness program, you have to have made 120 payments or 10 years worth of payments. But the caveat with the provision is that all this time after March 13, 2020, if your payments and interest, they were frozen, right? So during that time period, all of those suspended $0 payments count as payments towards your 120 payments, which is a lot. That's like 3 years worth. So if you've been working for a long time, so up to 10 years at a nonprofit organization or government entity, then it would be a great idea to apply, because now a lot more payments are able to count. So those suspended $0 payments count. If you, I'm trying to think of all these other options. If you have teacher loan forgiveness, before, teacher loan forgiveness could not count as both teacher loan forgiveness and public service loan forgiveness. Now your payments that count towards teacher loan forgiveness also count towards public service loan forgiveness. So that is a double whammy. So I'm like, so teachers, I need you guys to know that. And then if you are retired, so normally the normal PSLF program, that's what it'll go back to after October 31st. You have to be still working at your either like nonprofit or wherever you're working and where your qualifying employer is. You have to be working there when you apply for the public service loan forgiveness program. But now, up until October 31st, when you apply, you do not have to be working at that qualifying employer at the time you apply. So you could be sitting at home, nice and retired, and still apply and be able to apply and get forgiveness as a retired person if you apply and have your loans consolidated by October 31st, 2022. So it's really important that you guys know that. For teachers, if you are retired, if you've had your loans suspended, your payments and your interest suspended, and you need those to count, all of a sudden almost 3 years worth of payments count as well. That's a game changer for a lot of people. So many more people have gotten their loans forgiven because of that. Hey, Mississippi Star. Thanks, guys, for hanging out for a little while. Let me know if you guys have questions. I was just talking about the public service loan forgiveness program and some of the provisions that are ending soon, October 31st, 2022. Ask me questions if you have questions, because I'm not really seeing a whole lot in the chat. Because I had a flu vaccine yesterday, so I'm feeling a little tired. So I'm just trying to hang out a little while on here to kind of see if you guys have questions. This looks like there's only about 4 people on. 3. Hey, Patekin 621. We're on here talking about student loan forgiveness, public service loan forgiveness, consolidation. If you have questions about Biden's announcement about student loan forgiveness just about 2 months ago on August 25th. Let's see. So public service loan forgiveness 2 on the provision. You actually normally have to have on-time payments and full payments. But now the Department of Education is accepting partial payments, late payments, all of that. And then you can be on any repayment plan. Before, you had to be on either, I believe it was a standard or an income-driven repayment plan in order to be eligible for the public service loan forgiveness. And I guess I'm interested to see how things change after this provision that ends October 31st, 2022 is done. Because before the provision, it was really difficult for a lot of people to even get their loans forgiven via public service loan forgiveness, even though they had been working for nonprofits and government entities for decades, and it was still difficult. There was such a small percentage of borrowers able to get the forgiveness at that time. Such a small percentage. So I wonder if maybe they really will revamp the whole program. I hope so. I pray so. Hi, Robert Walker 1600. Thank you for joining us. George Jetson 25. We're talking about student loan forgiveness. So if you have questions, put them in the chat. Public service loan forgiveness. The provision ends October 31st, 2022. So I hope you guys are looking into applying. I'm trying to think of some other dates you guys will need to know. So for student loan forgiveness, so Biden's announcement that was August 25th. Remember that most borrowers could feasibly get $10,000 forgiven. Excuse me, I have something in my eye. Or $20,000 forgiven if you were a Pell Grant recipient. And then it's based on the income limits of, if you're single, you had to make less than $125,000. If you are married, you had to make less than $250,000. And then some states will have to pay taxes. I know it was like Mississippi. I don't have my sheet with me right now, but I know Mississippi was confirmed, and I want to say maybe Indiana. There was probably 6 or 7 states, if I remember correctly, that would have to pay taxes. So you will not have to pay federal tax, but you will have to pay possible state tax in particular states. China Blacks here. I need help. You need help with what? With what exactly? China Blacks here. Zionist Streeter, thank you for joining. And then remember, this student loan forgiveness is based off of your 2020 and your 2021 tax return. So be aware of that. And if you're filling out the form today, it's basically on studentaid.gov/debt relief/application. And it's available beta testing right now. So you can go in, you put your name, your date of birth, phone number, social security number, email, and you'll be able to do it in less than 5 minutes. And then the dates that you'll want to remember, because the official application is actually not up yet, but from my understanding, you won't have to apply again. Libby Lou, thank you for confirming. See, it only took 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So I really actually encourage you guys, hop off of here, go fill it out, and then come back. Like, seriously. Because I need you guys not to forget to do it. I need you to have it already in, because it's only supposed to take a few weeks to get the forgiveness done. And then you would really like to have it done prior to going back into repayment status for your loans starting the new year, January 1st, 2023. I really am praying that for you guys. Maybe Lou, yes, you're welcome. Thank you for confirming for us how quickly you're able to fill out the application. I appreciate that. Zena Streeter, hi. Thanks for joining us. China Blacks here, you didn't say what you needed help with. Alicia Buckley, the website, yes. I can try to retype it again. I don't know if anybody from home, but everybody's probably on their phone, huh? I was about to say, so I'm about to have to attempt to put it in the chat again, but it is https://studentaid.gov/debt-relief/application for China Blacks here. Let me see, can I type it in the bottom? Hey guys, go ahead and follow if you have not already followed me. I would greatly appreciate it. I really talk about like student loan info, keep you guys updated about that. Because anytime there's any changes, I try to let you guys know. And then I love talking about how to make additional streams of income as well. Woo. And then of course how to save money. Those are like my areas that I really love. And then wellness. I love to talk about food too. Who doesn't like food? But I'm more of like the healthy side. How you can switch out the bad things and put in the good stuff. But considering the time to talk a lot about student loan debt. Okay, China. I am trying to type this as I have my arm resting on my leg. I'm doing some fancy balancing act out here, sitting in my backyard. Okay, I think that looks right. Guys, everyone else, let me know if my link looks correct. Because I cannot remember if it's HTTPS or without the S. But try both. China Blacks share. Pile of laundries. All of a sudden the bugs are coming out now. Okay. So yes, so if you have not applied, you do. Oh, you're welcome, China Black Share. If you have not applied, please go apply now for the student loan forgiveness. So if you're just hearing about it, I know a lot of people have been posting on Instagram and TikTok, like it's been all over everywhere. So I'm happy the site is actually still up and functioning properly. So please go now. You can go fill out the application for the student loan forgiveness, your name, date of birth, email, attesting to the income limits, social security number, that kind of thing. Just 3 minutes. 3 minutes, Libby Lou said it took 3 minutes. So if you have not filled it out, please go now. Redog Soul. And please, if you can like the broadcast, I would be so grateful. And then go ahead and follow me. That would be so great. I'll keep you up to date about the as much student loan information as I know I like to share. And then usually on the lives, I'll do some quick teachings, that kind of thing. So we've talked about everything from the provision for public service loan forgiveness that ends October 31st, 2022, as well as debt consolidation and what that really means, because you have to consolidate before you can apply for public service loan forgiveness. And we talked a ton about the Biden announcement of the $10,000 being forgiven for most borrowers, or $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. Pile of laundries, yes, quick and easy. Thank you for confirming that. So guys, yes. And yes, please share the live, guys. Thank you, Libby Lou. I appreciate you for sharing the live. So yes, please share the live if you can. Share it with somebody you know that needs the information. Maybe they're just sitting around hanging out on Saturday night, and maybe they can like look here and kind of see some questions and get some questions answered and continue on with the doing too. Libby Lou, yep, thank you. Yes, thank you for the likes, I appreciate it. So yes, guys, like the broadcast, follow me if you could, I would be greatly appreciated, and share the live with anybody you guys know that needs the information. What other questions do you have? Zena Street, or yours? Oh, the website is correct. Okay, thank you for confirming, I appreciate it so much. That I would hate to give you guys the wrong website, so I appreciate that, Zena Streeter, so much. Thank you. And it took less than but then I'm receiving texts from everywhere, guys. So Zena Streeter, thank you for letting us confirming that it takes less than 3 minutes. And I was like sending out text at my computer earlier at my desk, and I was like, I'm supposed to be reading and working, I'm supposed to be doing something else, but I was sending out texts to like family and friends saying go now, and everybody's like, thanks, they submitted the form. So I'm so glad, guys, because I don't want you guys to wait, because things change so quickly. Because remember, we talked about the change with when you have private loans. So let's talk about two different circumstances. Public service loan forgiveness, you can still, with the provision at least, you can still consolidate your private loans into a direct consolidation loan. So your FFEL loans and your Perkins loans. That's what public service loan forgiveness. But with the new student loan forgiveness, or the Biden announcement with the $10,000 or the $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients, that change came so quickly. Like none of us even could have thought that kind of thing would happen. Because I think it was either September 28th or 29th where just out of nowhere we were like, oh, so all of a sudden now, if you had privately held FFEL loans or Perkins loans, you could no longer consolidate after the announcement. But if you had consolidated prior to September, I think it was 28th or 29th, if you had consolidated already, then you would have actually still been eligible to receive the forgiveness. And I'm like, it's uncanny, really, right? So really saying that if we all had acted quickly, and if we had private loans and consolidated quickly before that September time frame, we would have still been eligible for the loan forgiveness. So that is a huge suggestion I have for you guys. Make sure anything that comes up that you're like, this will benefit me, do it as quickly as possible. So fill out that student loan application as quickly as possible, because things change like night and day. So I want to keep you guys abreast if I'm able to. Thank you, Zena Streeter, for saying that. Follow the host, I appreciate it. And Libby Lou for the likes, thank you. So yes, guys, please, if you'd like the broadcast, please share with somebody you know that needs the information. I really appreciate it. And of course, share the application as much as possible so people who need it can get the information they need. And then follow me, follow me, like the broadcast, share, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. So any other questions? I've been rambling now for I don't even know how long. I don't even know what time it is. I'm trying to think of what else I would want to tell you guys. We did talk about debt consolidation recently. Let's see, I think that might have been Thursday night. We were talking about debt consolidation, which you would consolidate your loans prior to doing the temporary expanded public service loan forgiveness, which that's the one that ends October 31st, 2022, or otherwise known as the provision, or the regular public service loan forgiveness. You have to consolidate your loans into a direct consolidation loan first. Okay, and then remember, let's see, a big question I often get is that, are Parent Plus loans eligible? So Parent Plus loans are eligible for, just pay attention to this. So Parent Plus loans are eligible for the public service loan forgiveness, the regular program. The Parent Plus loans are eligible, but the temporary expanded public service loan forgiveness that ends on October 31st, 2022, all the information I have seen says that Parent Plus loans are not eligible for the October 31st, 2022 provision. Okay, so please remember that. But with the student loan forgiveness of the $10,000 or $20,000, if you have a Pell Grant, that one, Parent Plus loans are eligible as well. So basically, if you are a parent that took out loans for your child, you would qualify for, let's say, $10,000 getting forgiven, and your child, if they have loans in their name, they would also qualify to get $10,000 forgiven in their name. So it's not like, okay, per household or anything like that. So it's per borrower, whoever borrowed that amount. Thank you for the rose, China Black Shear. I appreciate it so much. Jazzy 158, hey. Mima 0130 SK, how are you? Sweetie 72, hello, how are you? Oh, thank you for the like, Mima. Quabina 16, thank you for joining us. We're talking about student loan forgiveness. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Student loan forgiveness, public service loan forgiveness, debt consolidation. Oh, I was going to say a few things about debt consolidation. So there are a few caveats with debt consolidation, because I know a few of you guys were worried about, well, what happens if I consolidate my loans? Part of my personal story is that I did consolidate my loans and I had no idea what I was doing. Okay. I was like 24, and the guy on the phone pressured me at Sallie Mae, and I was like, okay, I'll consolidate it. So I consolidated $100,000 of student loans. Fascinating. So basically, like you guys, which is what you guys are doing. So like 15 to 18 loans now become just one loan, but it means there's one loan, one new interest rate. And usually the interest rate is not, lower, because consolidation really isn't necessarily about lowering your interest rate. Okay. So that's a big thing to think about. Refinancing your student loans is one where you're more looking to lower your interest rate, but consolidation is usually it's a weighted interest rate. So they look at the balance of all of your loans as well as the interest rate of all of these loans, and it's a weighted average. So basically it's an average on steroids. So what you think would be like, oh, it's an average of, where you're like old school, you add all the values up, all the interest rates up, and divide them by how many interest rates you have, kind of thing. That number is about what it comes out to, but it's a little weighted. So instead of 5%, it's like 5.67%. So a weighted interest rate, but it is a new loan with a new weighted average interest rate. Okay. And so also some big things with consolidation is that once the consolidation is done, you cannot undo a consolidation. So you can't go back and say, okay, psych, I need to unconsolidate these. I didn't like how that felt. Can't do that. So you need to be sure that you want to consolidate. Sweetie 72, you may have answered this question. She said, you may have answered this already. Is the application out? Because I received an email on. Okay, yes, Sweetie. So there is, basically it's called the beta version of the application is out, but it means that you can actually go and apply right now. There's some weird noises going on out here. You can go ahead and apply. Sweetie 72, you might have to scroll back a little bit. Application will look and something like that. Okay, so what you received, right? My guess is that what you received showed like where you put in your name, and you put in your date of birth, and you put in your social security number, your email, your what else? Just your phone number. So it's a pretty simple application, and you just attest to those income limits that you made less than $125,000 single and less than $250,000 as a married couple. So yes, it takes less than 3 minutes. So I would go there now. So if you went to studentaid.gov, it should be up on the website now, I would think, like towards the top. But it's basically studentaid.gov /debt-relief/application is the website. I don't know if anybody's able to type that in for me. That would be so great. Yeah, and Sweetie 72, 72, I would go now, actually. I would go there real quick, fill it out, and then come back. Because all that information is stuff you know and you can attest to, and it'll take less than 3 minutes. You'll be able to go there and come back. Because it is waxing and waning. I've been telling everybody to make sure that they go ahead and do it, because it showed up last night, someone said, and then it was gone because maybe the site was bogged down, and then this morning at 8 or 9 a.m. it came up again. So I was like, okay, tell everybody to get on there. Yes, please, Sweetie 72, do it right now. right now, because then we don't know when the official application will be out, but you should not have to apply again. It should just be this one time. At least we're hoping. Okay. So don't quote me on that, but that's at least what I've read. Woo, the mosquitoes, I'm starting to hit the mosquitoes now, right? I might have to make my way on the inside before these bugs try to eat me out. So what other questions do you guys have? I think I am going to head inside. So pardon me for the moving around. Oh, it's dark in here. Okay. So we were talking about actually consolidation as well. So consolidation, other big things is that you do not have to consolidate all of your student loans. Okay, so that was a big thing that I didn't know when I first started looking at consolidating. I thought, oh, I have to consolidate them all, because remember, you're not getting like this new fancy low interest rate, because that's not really the purpose of the consolidation. So I ended up, let's say, consolidating a loan that may not have needed to be consolidated, because if it's a loan of only, let's say, 2%, that's something that I don't really want it averaged in to my other loans, because it's such a low interest rate. And then also, you do not lose your federal protection. So like your federal protections, like forbearance and deferment, you do not lose those protections, and you do not lose the option to have forgiveness either when you, sorry, I'm trying to adjust my light to make it a little bit better. So you do not lose your federal protections, and you do not lose your, so that's forbearance and deferment, and you do not lose your ability to be able to have forgiveness. So which is like this public service loan forgiveness. But let's say you refinance, if you refinance, that's when you lose your federal protections. So your deferment, forbearance, you're not able to do that, and then your forgiveness, you're not able to have forgiveness or be eligible for forgiveness either if you refinance. Let's see. Sorry, I have this weird button here now. Application will look in something like that. Sweetie 72. Okay, glad you're doing that now. Beamer. Let's see. So Parent Plus loans are included. So, okay. So Parent Plus loans. So let's talk about it in a few instances. So a Parent Plus loan, if you're talking about student loan forgiveness, from Biden's announcement, either the $10,000 for most borrowers or $20,000 for parents, for Pell Grant recipients, Parent Plus loans are included. And then for the public service loan forgiveness, Parent Plus loans are included. For the temporary expanded public service loan forgiveness, which ends October 31st, 2022, from my understanding, Parent Plus loans are not eligible for that one. Okay, but they're eligible for the loan forgiveness, and they're eligible for the regular public service loan forgiveness program, Beamer. Hopefully that answers your question. Mima0130SK. I called my loan service on the 28th, and they never told me to have the consolidation in by the 29th. Okay, so Mima, you have private loans, must be. That's right. I can actually put my phone in here. I'm going to try this. Sorry, guys. I am doing too much. Okay. Okay, Mima, I'm guessing that, yes, you were saying that. Okay, Mima, I'm guessing that, yes, you were saying that. Which you're not the only one to say that, Mima. I've heard that too, where they weren't explicit about saying that you should consolidate. So like when you went on there, is that better? I don't even know if that's better or not. But they were not explicit in telling you that you needed to consolidate your private student loans. And I would have thought that they should have been. So Mima, so you have a commercial loan? So meaning privately held loans. loans held by the Department of Education, because that's the thing. So if it's a private loan, or if it's a FFEL loan or Perkins loan, it has to be held by the Department of Education. It cannot be privately or it can't be privately held. Right. Yeah, that's right. So if it was a private loan, it needs to be changed into a direct consolidation loan. That's right. But it needs to be by that. It was either, you're right, I can't remember the exact date, but either September 28th or September 29th. It needs to be done by that time period. Because if it was not done before the announcement, they're basically saying, no one else can now consolidate from private FFEL loans and Perkins loans to a direct consolidation loan. Beamer. Okay, so what if your loans have been paid off, Beamer? You're welcome. And then, so if your loans have been paid off, so I guess the question is, we were talking about a little bit about this before you came on, been paid off, Beamer? You're welcome. And then, so if your loans have been paid off, so I guess the question is, we were talking about a little bit about this before you came on, so the question is, so if Beamer asks, so what if her loans have been paid off? So it depends, Beamer. So did you pay your loans off after the time that the student loan forgiveness? Oh, hold on one second, okay? Oh, Gina. We're multitasking today, for real, like for real. So depends on Beamer if your student loans were paid off during the time when your payments and your interest were frozen. So it depends on if they were frozen during that time. So if you paid off your student loans during that time, then you could feasibly get a refund.
Okay, thank you.
Hey. So you could feasibly get a refund. So first, answer that question for me. Did you pay your loans off during the time when you had your payments and your interest frozen? So after March 13th, 2020. I'm not sure if you would know the answer. Why do they need your social security number? That's a good question. I think it's really, just one of those means to try to confirm who you are. You know what I mean? Because when you give your date of birth and your social security number, you're confirming who you are, because they're not asking like your account number for your loans or anything. So it's like that date of birth and your social security number are like those main ways where they're like, okay, to make sure she is who she is, make sure we can identify her, that kind of thing. So I think it's more of just trying to confirm and attest to who you are. Because at the bottom they say, hey, you're confirming that you're the one filling out this application. So remember, you're giving your social security number and your date of birth. So confirming your identity, really. But I know it makes you a little leery when you do it. But remember, it is the federal student aid website. So since it is, be mindful that you're like, okay, it is a safe website, like it's securely monitored, and then it's a safe website, so it's okay. Oh, Mima, my screen froze. I'm sorry. I was walking around doing too much. Let's see. Not sure if okay. Mima, which part did you miss? Was that about the refund, or the part about why your social security number was needed? Oh, and I have my whole big chubby finger in front of the screen. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to put this back in the little holder, or at least attempt. Oh, we're doing all the things today, guys. Okay, Mima, what was your question again? You missed which part? So I didn't hear you. My screen froze. Never froze any loans. Oh, okay. Beamer says she didn't freeze any loans. Oh, meaning no, Beamer. So you didn't know that you paid them off this year. So, okay. So Beamer is saying that she didn't know that she could freeze. So Beamer, remember that your loans, your Biden froze all the payments and the interest during COVID, remember? So you didn't have to pay if you didn't want to pay. And so if you paid them off this year, so 2022, so which means Beamer, so you were paying all during 2020 and all during 2021, and then now all 2022. So if you paid off your loans this year right now, I would say you should contact the Department of Education, because that means that if you are done, so is your balance a zero? So your account is closed then? That would mean, right, your account is closed. So that means that if your account is closed, I would contact them about receiving a refund. Because if you were paying between March 13, 2020 and all the way up until December 31st, 2022, you're basically eligible for a refund. So which means that with this student loan forgiveness, at least from my understanding of how it works, you could get feasibly $10,000 for just a regular borrower, or up to $20,000 if you were a Pell Grant recipient, refunded if you were paying the entire time that your loans were frozen. So your payments and your interest were frozen. So between March 13, 2020 and December 31st, 2022. So I would call your loan servicer and you're basically saying, hey, my loan number is this. These are the loans I was paying on. This is the time period that I paid these loans. And then there should be a discussion after that about a possible refund. 2D72, you're welcome. Thank you. Oh, Mima, the consolidation part. Okay, I'm trying to think of what I was saying about the consolidation. I was talking about the consolidation, saying that you don't have to consolidate all your loans. When you do consolidate, you lose. So with consolidation, also you have the option to have to keep your federal protections. So like your deferment and your forbearance, you have the option to keep all of those protections. And so also forgiveness, you're still eligible to have forgiveness if you consolidate your loans. I'm trying to think of what else there is. There's a possibility that your monthly payment could go down a little bit when you consolidate your loans, but a lot of times you're lengthening the term. So you're lengthening how long you pay, because then whenever you lengthen the time that you pay, usually your payment will go down a little bit. But that also means that this bumps up how much interest you'll be paying, because you're paying over a longer period of time. So which means you could physically pay more money over the life of the loan. So you have to keep those things in mind. But if you're going to consolidate, it's important to contact the Department of Education and get an idea of, okay, so before I do this, can you give me an idea of what my new monthly payment will be? Because you don't want to come out on the other side to then realize that your monthly payment has gone up considerably and it's not something you can afford. Because it does have to make sense for you, because at the end of the day, if you're not eligible to get complete forgiveness at that time, you'll have to continue paying payments up until 120 payments until it's time for complete forgiveness. And you'll have to pay that. Okay, so that's really important to remember. Beamer, then he announced forgiveness. And so Beamer says that Biden announced forgiveness and you were paying right along. Okay. And so yes, all of your loans are closed. Beamer, please. So yes, you have to call your so either your servicer or the Department of Education, and you want to let them know that, hey, okay. And so I would also, yes, Beamer, I would also go on the studentaid.gov website and apply for the loan forgiveness. I would put in all the forms I need to put in. I would put in that loan forgiveness, make sure that's on file. Sweetie 72, okay, perfect, that you applied. Beamer, thanks. Okay, calling the Monday. Yes, call, because then you can find out, okay, am I supposed to be calling the Department of Education? Am I supposed to be calling my loan servicer? So you can find out who, because it sounds like you might be due a refund. But then make sure you have those numbers ready. So I'm sure you'll need probably date of birth, social security number. You'll probably need your loan numbers. So whatever you paid off, have those loan numbers ready. If you can have what dates you paid, what dates you were paying. So if you can print all that out so you can have that ready, say, hey, I was paying on these loans, I paid this much on these dates, and literally go line by line with them, because it might be possible that you're feasibly due $10,000 or $20,000 if you were a Pell Grant recipient, because you were paying during the COVID suspension where the payments and the interest were frozen. Thanks, Beamer. Great question. Mima, I called my loan servicer on the 28th, and then they told me that it was due on the 29th. I see. And see, the only thing is, so Mima says, I called my loan servicer on the 28th, and they never told me that it was due on the 29th. And see, question is that, because see, like, who's working at, like, the Department of Education or your loan servicer, these are just regular people. You know what I mean? So they may have no earthly idea that the administration, that the Biden administration is going to basically kind of, because all the articles were saying, okay, the administration quietly kind of snuck that one in there and said, hey, you know, the FFEL loans and Perkins loans, if they're privately held, they'll no longer count, and they aren't eligible for the loan forgiveness. So it was kind of like slid underneath the carpet kind of thing, you know. So I'm not convinced, Mima, that whoever you spoke to even had any idea. You know what I mean? They just knew that, okay, you know what I mean? Maybe in the back of their mind, they knew, okay, in order to even do this, at some point she'll have to consolidate her loans. But then they may not have had any idea that it was going to be taken away like the next day. You know what I mean? And so I'm sorry that happened. I really am. Do you work for a nonprofit or government entity or anything like that where you could apply for the public service loan forgiveness? Because then that would be my next question. Because Mima, are you working for a qualifying employer right now? No, you don't. Okay. So as of right now, and so I guess my question is do you only have private loans? Do you have just regular, like, okay, not employed right now. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I'd be curious to see, do you have any other, like, loans held by the Department of Education? So literally just like subsidized and unsubsidized Stafford loans, those kind of things, where those are already like loans held by the Department of Education. Because you should still be able to get it if you own more than just private loans. So Mima, do you own other loans that are not just private loans? Because from my understanding, you can still have private loans, but you would have to have, okay, so you have some subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Okay. And so those, I would double check, but those should, and so your subsidized and unsubsidized, they show up. So she's saying that Mima says she has subsidized and unsubsidized loans on her profile. So which means you have those on your studentaid.gov profile. So on the federal website, you have subsidized and unsubsidized loans that show up. Because if you have those loans that show up on the studentaid.gov website, usually, hey, Boss Lady 10906, it usually means that those loans would be eligible. Okay, so you had 3 loans that you needed to consolidate. Okay, so 3 loans you had to consolidate. So Mima says she has 3 loans that she needed to consolidate. Okay, and so only 3 loans that you needed to consolidate, but you had other loans that were already federally held, so already held by the Department of Education. Because if you have other loans that equal more than, that $10,000 or less, you should still have the possibility of being eligible. But of course, when in doubt, the best thing is to call your servicer or the Department of Education to double check, to say, okay, I know these loans I would have needed to consolidate. Do these other loans count? Okay, so all 3 of your loans were private loans then. I have 3 loans that I need to consolidate. Okay, because if there were 3, okay, so 3 loans that were private loans that needed to be consolidated. And then she said, no, that's it. They equal about $9,500. And that 3 loans that needed to be consolidated. I see. So it's like right at that amount. Wow. Well, I do know that I think it's at a standstill right now, Mima, unfortunately. I know that the Department of Education, from what I've read, are still discussing other ways that borrowers who have the FFEL loans and FFEL loans and Perkins loans that were privately held, they're still discussing ways that they can provide some relief for them as well, because that means it left out quite a few borrowers, a lot of borrowers, because there's a lot of people who have the private loans. So I know they're still discussing it. So just because there isn't something out right now, it does not mean that there will never be. Yeah, they call them commercial loans. Yeah, commercial loan or like a privately held loan. Yeah. When I was reading through information, that's what I saw often too, was those two words were used interchangeably. Hey, Mrs. Boat. Hey guys, if you are just coming on, we're talking about student loan forgiveness, student loan consolidation, public service loan forgiveness. Please like the broadcast if you can. Please share. Please follow me. That would be so great. Please join the community. Talk a lot about student loans since those are the times we're in. And so how I can bring you guys the information so you can either start getting forgiveness or paying off your loans or whatever you decide to do, because I talk a lot about helping you guys get out of debt, helping you guys be free from student loans, how to save more, and then of course how to make more too. Let's see, Mima. Does this mean that I can't submit it? I would still submit it, to be honest. Because I mean, I would let the I would not decide for myself that I don't qualify. You know what I mean? Because basically something could change tomorrow. That's the insanity of all this in some aspects. Because you'll wake up one day and there'll be no application. You'll wake up the next day and there'll be, okay, the Perkins and the FFEL loans don't count anymore. And everybody's like, what? It counted yesterday. So Mima, apply. I would go ahead, I would put in all my information, and they would have to tell me that I don't apply. And then let's say, because futuristically, let's say they come up with something else and they say, you know what, now we have this new plan for people that have FFEL loans and Perkins loans that are privately held. And then your information will already be submitted. You won't even have to go back. So I sure would. I was like, you should go there right now, go ahead and apply, and then let them tell you. And then remember, things can change. So I don't want you to be disheartened by this. Things can change. They can change. And I know the Department of Education is still searching for what they can do for these borrowers that were not able to get relief. And even borrowers, so both FFEL on Perkins loans, borrowers that had loans that were privately held, as well as higher income earners. And I'm like, because I know many, right? Let's say pharmacists or doctors or surgeons or whoever and dentists, right? That make a significant amount, yes, make a significant yearly amount, but they also have a large amount of loans as well. Because I know pharmacists that have well over 6 figures in loans. I had $113,000. So there are people who have even more than that, because I graduated like 15 years ago. So there are a few different, so people who have privately held loans, and then people who are higher income earners who also have higher debt. There needs to be some relief for you guys as well. So yes, I said all that to say, Mima, please go and apply. Please do. For sure. And actually go there now while the site is still up and running. Go there now to fill it out, and then you can come back. Sweetie72, I'm so glad I came on TikTok because your live was the first to pop up. Oh, thank you so much, Sweetie72. I appreciate that so much. Mima, yes, please. You should definitely apply. It's like we don't want to count ourselves out. We still want to keep swinging, so we don't want to count ourselves out, okay? You go ahead and apply and then see what they say. But then I would say just, for me, I would just keep praying and hoping that they do find something that will help for those that have private loans and those that are higher income earners, which have higher debt. Mima, in the name of Jesus, amen. That's right. Yes, that's right. You're welcome, Mima. You are more than welcome. Thank you guys for the likes, and thank you guys for the follows. And if you guys have not already, please like the broadcast. Please follow. I appreciate that so much. Please share the broadcast with somebody you know, a family member, a friend, because I know a lot of people have questions and don't always have the ability to ask the questions they want, because then there's some people on here who may know things that I do not know, because I don't know everything. I just read a lot about student loans and listen to a lot of, information just about consolidation and things like that, and try to keep updated so that I can keep you guys updated. Complex anxiety. Complex anxiety's question is, how is the $10,000 being applied to the loans? Complex anxiety, I will have to get back to you on that, because part of it, I'm trying to think, how is it being applied to the loans? That's a little bit of a tricky question, because when I read the information about how it's applied, because there was it was like a waterfall of how it was applied, where it was like, oh, okay, you apply it to loans that look like this. So it's slightly more complicated than I can get into on this live, because when I read it, it was literally like a full article about how it was applied, because they were saying, okay, there's certain loans, they apply it to it first. They were just like, oh, okay, we apply it to this principal and then this interest, and so it was a little bit more complicated than I can actually explain on here. So I might have to follow me, complex anxiety, and I'll have to actually shoot you the article that I have about that, because it was a little intense. But there is a system to how they apply your forgiveness. There is a system, but then remember, then it also will reduce your principal balance. So if you reduce your principal balance, then that also changes your monthly payment as well, and it changes your full amortization schedule and everything for how soon you're able to pay off your debt and all of that. Of course. So yeah, go ahead and I'll have to, I actually probably should write down your name, because then I'll shoot you that article, because it was pretty intense information. I actually read someone else's IG trying to explain the waterfall effect of how the money was going to apply. I was like, whoa. So complex anxiety. Okay, I'll write it down and then shoot you the information about how it's applied. So guys, if you are just coming on, we are talking about student loan forgiveness, debt consolidation, all that good stuff. So if you have questions, it's the loan forgiveness as well. Thank you, Complex Anxiety, so much for the question. Sorry I wasn't able to answer it. If anybody else can answer it quickly and briefly, please do. But yeah, that one's more of you have to sit down and really read to see with that waterfall effect of how the $10,000 will be applied to your specific loans. Because it'll depend on what kind of loans you have. And then you'll be looking to see, you basically compare what loans you have to how their waterfall system works. Okay, so thank you for the likes, guys. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing the live as well, and then following me. I really appreciate that. What other questions do you guys have? I'm trying to think of what else we would want to talk about. And so you guys know that we talked about refunds, we talked about income limits, we talked about who is eligible, Parent Plus loans, graduate loans. This is for the loan forgiveness. So Parent Plus loans, federal consolidated loans, graduate loans. But then for right now, privately held FFEL loans and Perkins loans and people who have refinance loans do not count. And that, remember, you won't have to pay federal tax, but there are some states that you will have to pay state tax. So which means, looks like I have written down, I believe someone let me know, Indiana, Minnesota, Mississippi, North Carolina, and there's still a few pending states. Let's see, Wisconsin, California, Arkansas are still pending. Whew, y'all, what time is it? Ooh, it's 8:30. I'm tired. So, once again, so with Felicia, if you have not filled out the student loan application, go now, run. I will try to type that in the comment section again. So I don't know about quickly, but I'm going to attempt to type the student loan application in the comment section. So if you have not filled out the student loan forgiveness application, it is in beta testing, but you can fill it out once here, and from my understanding, not have to fill it out again. Don't quote me on that now, guys. Things are changing like shirts now, okay? Changing like the wind sometimes. But we're going to put this up here. So it's studentaid.gov/debt-relief/application. I will put this in the comments, screenshot it, and then go and fill out the application. So honestly, I'm like, whatever your circumstances, go ahead and fill out the application. Allow the Department of Education to decide. Don't count yourself out, okay? Because there's a lot of different circumstances, and sometimes we think we know when really it could be a completely different situation, and we don't want to miss out on applying because later on, because it's like every day there's some more, there's caveats that come out, small changes where one day it was this and now it's something else. And so hopefully those that are like doctors and surgeons and all these things, and sometimes pharmacists, right, where you're a high earner, so they think, oh, you should be able to pay off your debt, but you also have high debt. A lot of people have 6 figures up to $500,000 worth of debt. Dentist. So and then also those that have private student loans, so FFEL loans and Perkins loans. The Department of Education is still working on a method or a way for you guys to be able to apply for relief as well. So stay tuned. Agnes Cooper's 422. Sorry if you missed it. We're headed out, but we're talking about student loan forgiveness, student loan consolidation, debt consolidation, public service loan forgiveness. Y'all, thanks for hanging in there. I appreciate it. Thanks for the questions. We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Now I'm going to go take a nap.